Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Diamond Life Mentor podcast. On this episode, I wanted to do something a little different than all the previous episodes. I wanted to give you a glimpse into my private paid only community calls that I do, that I've been doing for the last 10 years. And prior to launching my podcast, this was the only way to actually hear from me and my thoughts and my philosophies and my value. I did a call last week that I do once per month, and it was talking to the newest person who is having a lot of limiting beliefs around where they're at and overwhelmed and so on and so on. And after last episode where we actually talked about the Diamond Life business model, I'm sure some of you reached out and commented freedom and you wanted to get more information. But I want to give you a glimpse into some of the training, the types of calls, the type of inspiration and motivational things that I've talked about for the last decade inside the call, inside the community. This is going to be with the context that I'm speaking to someone already in my organization. They're already invested in the Diamond Life business model. They've already got their products. They've already got access to global distribution rights for life. And they're basically in the door, ready to go. And now they just have to follow through and make it happen. So this is going to be fun. I hope you enjoy this episode. And here we go. Let's dive right in. What's up, y'all? How you doing? How you feeling? Super excited to be here with all of you for this month's GPM live call with yours truly, Balazs to Kardos, March 2023. This call will be primarily focused around the top question that we asked from the community around what you'd want me to touch on, talk about, etc. And the one thing that got the most votes was getting started in Enagic as a newbie without fancy funnels or being part of a specific training platform. So generally speaking, we're going to be talking about the newest person who just got started. And if that's you and you're watching this right now, congratulations, welcome. Super pumped and excited for you to be here with us. And I know that initially when you first get started on a big project, you have a lot of mixed emotions, right? You're super excited. You have the vision of grandeur of what's possible for your life in the future and the freedom that you can create and the people you can impact and help and so on. And at the exact same time, there's a level of uncomfortable, nervousness, concern, all kind of mixed emotions. And entrepreneurship, especially in what we do, really comes with a roller coaster ride of emotions. One day you're confident, one day you know you can do it. Then someone has something negative to say, or you have a difficulty overcoming something that you're trying to put together in your business, and then you get these feelings of insecurity and doubt, and maybe I can't do this, maybe it's harder than I thought, and all those kinds of things. So I hear you, I've been there, I relate, I understand, and we're going to be talking about this from this point of view of what can you do to get your business moving forward. And I'm really going to set some boundaries. I'm going to set some expectations. I'm hopefully going to change your mindset and shift your mindset around with what this journey really truly entails. Because the biggest area that I feel like often people are stuck in is mismanaged expectations from the get-go. And if you have mismanaged expectations, then you're very likely to constantly be disappointed. You're constantly being let down because you're not able to match or live up to these said expectations that are usually a bit of a fantasy/delusion. And if you're coming into an opportunity such as this one with the wrong set of expectations, you're going to be having to overcome a lot of unnecessary pain, unnecessary disappointment. Okay, so let me say what's up to everybody and go ahead and take a second to say hello in the chat, tag your team, tag your friends, and celebrate some wins, right? We do these calls once per month, and so there should be a lot of exciting things that you can pop in the chat here around something you're proud of yourself for, a win, big or small. And it's very important, especially since this call is focused around the newest person in the community, that you don't feel like your win isn't good enough, right? Because maybe you haven't had a sale, or maybe you haven't had a rank achievement, or maybe you haven't quit your job, or some of these bigger wins that we all strive towards at one point in the journey. That's fine. But sometimes just, investing in your products and being here and making the sacrifices in your schedule to get some childcare, or to, leave your work a little early so you could be on this call live based on your time zone and wherever you are in the world. Those are all wins too. Sometimes it's as simple as getting your ads up, or your Facebook page created, or a couple of posts, or you're stepping out of your comfort zone and doing even a live on your Instagram where you're talking into the camera. Or maybe you did a live stream just talking about your excitement for starting your business. Whatever the win is, when you do something that you previously haven't done, or you were uncomfortable with, and you broke through that and you did it anyways, massive win. And so be proud of yourself for that, because those small steps, those small wins, they do add up over time. They do compound over time. And when we look back on our journeys years from now, we'll remember the time when we were afraid to go on camera. We were afraid to public speak. We were afraid to share our story or vulnerabilities around some of the challenges and obstacles we've overcome in our lives. Because one of the big things that I've noticed is that generally, when you have a job, which is most of us before we start with this opportunity and strive towards a life of freedom, most of these jobs that we've had in our lives have always conditioned us and taught us to leave our life at the front door, right? You probably heard this before. It's like, if you're dealing with some marriage issues, if you're dealing with some family problems or health problems or stress or anything really, it's like, don't bring that here. It's not welcome here at the office. Put on a smile, pretend everything's good, and that's it. That's how we roll around here. And when you come into this environment, often you need to learn how to let go of some of that conditioning and actually start talking about the vulnerabilities, the challenges of life in general, and then turning that into an inspiring message to your audience of how you're overcoming that and the personal development and growth that you're consistently putting in that has helped you get through some of those difficult obstacles in life in general. And then the reason behind why this business matters to you, and the fact that you're in this specific circumstance, for example, and now you're like, enough is enough. I've had my line in the sand moment, and I don't want this to be a thing ongoing. And so I've started to put my energy and my effort towards building the house that you're moving into. And that's the way that I kind of can say from an analogy standpoint, is that all of you are living in your current home, your current career, your current job, your current circumstances, whatever that looks like for you. And most of us, we're maxed out, right? Our time is maxed out. Our obligations are maxed out. Our finances are maxed out. Maybe our debt is piling up. And so we're living very much in this place where being maxed out is the normal. And at the same time, we recognize that this is not the place we want to remain. We do not want to stay in these circumstances. We don't want to stay in this stressed out place. And so what are we doing? We're starting to build the home that we're going to move into, the mansion, the dream home, figuratively speaking, right? That has all the bells and whistles. It has the freedom. It has the features. It has everything you've always desired, but it's a really big project. I'm actually building a villa in Mexico right now, and we're in the earlier stages of that. Construction hasn't started, but the planning, the back and forth, the details, what we want, what we don't want, how we want it to look like, it's a process, and it's going to be like 2-3 years from start to finish until the moment comes where we actually can go and move in there or stay there for part of the year. That's very much like how your business operates too. You get started in this where you're living in your current home, your current job, your current career, your current circumstances, and you're starting to dedicate 1, 2, 3 hours a day towards building where you want to be in the future in a few years. And the thing that makes it tricky is that it's easy to not make progress every day. Often we get so caught up in our daily lives that we forget to focus on where we want to be going and what's going to move the needle forward. So I think that's really important for everybody to recognize, is that you are in the most challenging season when you're building two things simultaneously. Because one, you're maintaining your current life, your current relationships, your current obligations. And if you stop doing some of those things in the short term, that's probably going to lead you to some challenges that you don't want, right? Like if you quit your job right now, you might have a little bit of savings to last you a few months. But if you don't make sales and if you don't progress in your opportunity in that window, then all of a sudden debt will pile up and possibly, you foreclose on your mortgage or you get kicked out and evicted from your rent of your place, you lose your vehicle, all these negative things can start to happen. And so for most people, they're not willing to do that because they want to maintain their current lifestyle. They want to maintain everything they're used to, that they're comfortable with. But then at the same time, we have been conditioned to like take our evenings off, to relax, to watch the hockey game, the football game, the Netflix, to play with the kids, to have this very much second part of our day, our evenings and weekends, to be time where we disconnect, we unplug, right? We forget about our problems, we forget about jobs. And that is not going to work in this type of transition period for you. And this is hard for a lot of people to hear. It's hard for people to swallow this truth, is that for a period of time, the fun, the leisure, the relaxing, the so on and so on, it has to be the first thing to go. Because if you try to keep everything as it is and also add this new venture, this new business, this new skill set, this evolution of who you are and your mindset, where is that going to go? When exactly are you going to be able to do that? So what happens most often is people go, yeah, I have this goal, this business, I want to achieve this. But then when you measure the input of what they're actually doing, what they're learning, what they're practicing, the process behind their business, what they expect to take out, the output and the input are not a match. That's where the delusion period for most people comes from. And then the worst part is that rather than taking ownership and looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, I just haven't really tried. I haven't really given it what it needs, right? I haven't really put in the effort. Instead, they'll blame the industry. They'll say Magic's a scam. They'll say network marketing is a scam. They'll blame their upline, their sponsor, the community, the training platform. They'll blame everything else instead of being like, you know what, if I was truly being honest, I've never put in the required energy, the required effort to ever make anything successful, yet alone this type of business. So first and foremost, we need to shift a couple of these things in the beginning. And the reason I'm starting here as opposed to what you can do to generate leads or what you can do to make some sales is because you won't ever get to that step. The steps have to be in the right sequence. And most of our sequences are completely jumbled into the wrong pieces to start with. So if you're new, first thing that you need to realize is what exactly are you wanting to build? Are you wanting to build your forever dream home, figuratively speaking from a analogy standpoint, and you're living in the basement suite with not much natural light and, it's small and you're crammed and you don't have a lot of space for your children or your whatever the case is, and it's okay. It's a roof over your head. You have a place to sleep. You're safe. And it's not the worst thing ever. You're not homeless. You're not living in a third world country. You're okay. All right. But then when it's like, what's the dream? Maybe the property's bigger. Maybe the home is bigger. Maybe you have some more, features and whatnot. Like, I remember what that was like too, because when I first got together with Margaret, my wife, we were living in a really small kind of little apartment in where we were, and there was no natural light. It literally felt like we were living in a dungeon, And then we upgraded into a brand new condo where we were still renting, and we were there for 5 years. And that's the 5-year window. That was the first 5 years of my business with Enagic. And we were grinding, we're hustling, we're making sacrifices. And then we bought our first actual house ever, right? Our first home, which is where we live now. And it's our dream home, right? It's everything we've ever wanted. And obviously there's levels and there's a higher, bigger vision and bigger dream and stuff like that. But even if none of that ever happened and all we ever lived was here in this home for the rest of our lives, we would be in the upper 1% of people in the world of quality of life in our home and all the things. So yes, there's levels to everything, but at the same time, expectations is so important. So whenever you have a goal, right, it's to rank advance, it's to hit 10,000 a month, it's to hit 682-3. you have to also have a realistic expectation of what are you willing to sacrifice and what are you willing to exchange for that to be a reality. And if those two things are not actually a match, then don't ever expect to get the result. So first of all, there's a reality check that you need to go, all right, is it worth it for me? Like, I know some people that, I don't want to name names, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but there are some people who know everything about all the celebrity gossip, all right? They know everything about the Kardashians. They know everything about this, that, and the other person, about their lives. And sometimes I hear them talking about this, you know, at like the barbershop or some places I go in public, and I'm kind of like, are you their friend? Like, you know a lot. And it's like they've never met them. They've never talked to them. This person they're speaking about, like, I got some people that I know that literally try to talk about like LeBron James like they're homies. Oh, LeBron this, he put up these numbers, he's injured, he's sitting on the thing, he's wearing this clothes, he's wearing these shoes, and I'm kind of going to myself like, you don't know LeBron. LeBron don't know you, and why do you spend most of your energy talking about this person who gives no shits about you, and he's a billionaire living his dreams, and you're sitting there spending all your time talking about LeBron or Kardashians or whoever else, you know, or sports is a big one, you know, reality TV, the gossip stuff, the social media stuff, all this kind of thing. People are consumed with other people's lives instead of being consumed with their own life they want to create. And that's facts. So you need to decide how much do you want to know about everybody else's business while simultaneously completely ignoring your real business that is the ticket to freedom and the lifestyle you want to create. And this is a hard pill for people to swallow. Is like, some people know all the statistics, right? Like, oh, this guy's got this many goals this season. He's on the scoring streak. They watch the ESPN highlights every day. And I'm going like, that's cool. Maybe if you're like 13 years old in like grade 10 in high school, when your parents are paying for all the bills and you don't have no worries. You don't have no responsibilities. You don't have mouths to feed. And that's maybe all right. I did that shit too back in the day. It was all right. And now it's like statistics, scores, who's number one? I don't know. But I know I'm number one. I know I'm working on number one with you and the community on the Magic scoreboard that actually matters, you know, that actually is giving me the life and the impact that I want to have. That's the scoreboard we're looking at. Those are the statistics we're looking at, you know? So this is the truth. That's first step. The next step after that is what are you willing to trade? What are you willing to sacrifice to have the life that you want? Because short term, you're going to have to juggle too. You're going to have to live in the current life you have while you're building the home that you want to move into. And that's going to take a few years of consistently showing up. Now we can get into the specifics a little bit around how do we do this without a platform? How do we do this without fancy funnels? And the place to really focus here is around principles, okay? There's all the fads, there's all the gimmicks, there's all the software, there's all the stuff that's constantly evolving and changing. Technology is moving at rapid speeds. You'll never be able to keep up with all the latest AI, this, that software. It's constantly just leveling up pretty much by the day, it seems. It's just going so fast. So if you're always chasing the next new thing that just came out and trying to add it into your business as some kind of hack, you're always going to feel overwhelmed. You're always going to feel behind. But principles, they don't change, okay? So when it comes to principles, there's basically the two sides of your business. There's the front end and the back end of your business, okay? On the front end of your business, it comes to marketing and sales, bottom line. But in order for you to be successful in marketing and sales, you need to do personal development. You need to do your inner work. You need to change and train your mind and then apply that into the business. So there's this very much like, just like in sports, you got to go to the gym, train your body. You got to have your nutrition dialed. You got to sleep enough. You got to recover. Then you got to go to practice and actually work on your skills in practice. And then there's the game time where you get to perform and show off the discipline, the consistency, the hard work. And that's your opportunity to shine and get paid. This is the same thing here in this business. Is like the personal development is us training our minds. It's overcoming our own limitations and beliefs, and we need to be doing that daily. But not only that, it actually gives us ideas. It gives us content. It gives us things to speak about so we can learn about it, and we can apply it, and we can turn around and teach it. And learn, do, teach is where everybody who's new needs to focus. Is like, You don't know something today and you go read a book, you listen to a podcast, you come and listen to me on these trainings and other leaders in the community and their platforms and their trainings, and you learn something new and you go, oh man, I never looked at it like that. I never thought about it like that, right? This entire call that we're talking about today, if you distill it down into like the top 5 things you learned, you can turn around and teach that on your Instagram and your Facebook and your YouTube to your audience who hasn't started the business, who hasn't made the sacrifices, who doesn't understand what's really truly required for them to transition from the house that they're in to the dream home they want to build. That's valuable. They're going to look at you and go, man, okay, I get it. I'm ready to take the next step to learn more because I finally understand the real reality of what it's going to take. It's not like a buy something today and go make cash tomorrow. For some people, it can be that, but for most people, it's not that. There's more to it. So that's the first piece, is the personal development, applying yourself, and then being able to teach that because you're coming from a place of value, right? So one thing for me, when I first got started in this, I didn't understand this one thing I'm going to share with you right now, which is you always need to have 3 different types of people in your life at all times, okay? You need to have people that you feel like you're equal to. So this is the accountability partners. This is the same rank as you in the business, the people that have similar experiences to you that can relate to you. Maybe English is a second language for both of you and you understand the struggles of that. Maybe you're not that great with technology. You can both agree on that and work through it and help each other out and stuff. All kinds of things. So there's a relatability of like, we're the same, we're at the same place in our lives, similar anyways, and we're in the same place of business. You need to have these people in your life because they're people to lean on, they're like-minded, they're in the community, and you can cheer each other on. Then you need to have mentors you're learning from. These are people ahead of you, right? These are the people with the higher ranks, the higher income. They've been in this for a long time. In my case, that might be me for you and some other people that have been here for years and, have some good results and all that. That's the next person, is people that are at where you want to go, all right? But the third one is where most people drop the ball, which is actually turning around and teaching people who are not yet at the step that you're at. And a lot of the time, people don't feel worthy of teaching because they don't have sales, they don't have results, they haven't quit their job, all these things that they feel is attached to their value, right? It's like, I'm not valuable until I get here and I do this and I make the money and whatever. That's not actually the truth. You might be 3 months, 6 months, 12 months ahead of the majority of people who are still pondering, they're still thinking, they're still unsure. They're like, I don't know, I kind of, my life is kind of tough and my job is okay, but what am I going to do? How do I make a change? Like, is there something better out there for me? They're still there. You've gotten past all that stuff because you've had those thoughts, you've had that contemplation, and then you saw an ad or you saw a friend on social media share their journey, share this opportunity with you. Some way, somehow you learned about Enagic and you're here today. You've made the decision. You've got on the coaching call. You've watched the web class. You've gotten your products. You have a business that now can reach the world. You may not have sales yet, but you have the infrastructure, the business. You're in the game. That in and of itself is valuable. Just the fact that you're in the game and they're not yet in the game, there's value there because you're further along the decision-making process. So when you pause and go, what are all the steps that I've had to take from way back then when I was just going through my regular life, I was showing up to my job, I was paying my bills, I was living for the weekend, and I didn't even have the seed in my head yet of maybe this isn't for me. Maybe there's something bigger out there for me. Maybe I do deserve to be free. Maybe I do deserve to travel the world. Maybe I do deserve to have more. That thought hasn't even been in your head yet. That's the masses. They're not even there yet. So what happened from the moment you had the moment? What happened? Did you get an unexpected debt collector bill? Did you have your wife come to you and say, listen, if you don't get your shit together, I want a divorce? Did you have something happen where you paused and said, I can't go on like this anymore. I have to think. I have to come up with a new idea, a new solution, right? Talk about that, guys. That's valuable. You had a moment, you had a spark, something within you, your God-given potential came out for a moment and gave you a spark and said, wait a second, no, I can't go on like this. And from the moment that you first had that thought, there was a delay. You didn't have the thought and immediately quit your job. You didn't have the thought and immediately buy Enagic. The thought was the precursor, right? It was the imagination, the the intangible that started to lead you towards the clues in your reality when you went on social media. Your prefrontal cortex started looking for new clues, right? Your reticular activator system started to see things for the first time because you went, there's got to be a different way. And as soon as that opened and expanded your mind, you started to see possible opportunities and stuff for the first time. Maybe you're one of these people who used to see ads on social media and roll your eyes and call them names and say this and that other thing. And next thing you know, you had the shift and you started seeing those ads and go, maybe that's the one for me. Maybe this is the one for me. Maybe that's the opportunity I've been searching for. Same ads, different perspective. What if you were the one to shift a perspective for your audience and the people that you could attract? What if you were the one that made them finally go, wait a second, if they can, so can I. If they can learn, so can I. If they have access to this knowledge, information, business, etc., so can I. That's the shift that we can focus on, okay? So as we grow, we recognize and grow our self-awareness. And if you just go back in time, the last 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years of your life and analyze it and go, what happened? What made me have the spark? What made me have the shift? Talk about that. It's valuable because you decided in that moment at some point in the past who you wanted to become. And then there's a delay. There's a delay in you becoming that person, even though deep down you've had the like, okay, here we go. We're changing directions. Let's start taking steps that way. And that takes some time to get there. For me, I was like, when I did door-to-door sales, I was 2.5 years in when I knew that this wasn't going to be my future. And it took me another 1.5 years before I actually left to an adjunct. That's 18 months of me thinking about it. Can't sleep. I'm like, man, like there's got to be a better way. And I'm constantly like, there's this energy of like figuring it out, solving my problem. But I'm not sure what the solution is. I'm just kind of shooting shots going like, man, like, I'm taking the free throws and I keep rimming, like getting the, what's it called? A brick off the rim. I'm like, I know I can get it in the hoop, man. Brick. I know I can get it in the hoop. Brick. And I keep shooting anyway. I'm like, whatever, man, whatever. And all of a sudden, swish, swish, swish. Oh shit. I got the form down. I got the rhythm down. Just kept doing it. It's the same way it goes in this business. It's like, you're going to attempt things. You're going to try to do a video. You're going to try to do some content. It's not going to work. Nobody's going to care. So then you need a way to generate leads. And this is where I think that sometimes people can get so caught up in this, like, I got to have the fancy funnel. I got to be part of the platform and the community and this and that. First of all, I actually do think that it makes the most sense in 2023 to be aligned with a community, okay? And the community can provide you some more streamlined training on very like, this is how we do things, this is effective, etc., rather than you figuring it out all by yourself. So I actually encourage those people who are like, how do you do it without community? How do you do it without a platform? How do you do it with no fancy funnels? I encourage you to still learn, because part of that learning is going to allow you to move into that home in a more leveraged, automated way at some point in the future, which is the game. That's what people really desire. Most people in 2023, they don't want to do the face-to-face, non-leveraged way of building this type of business. Most people. There are still many people who do, don't get me wrong. But depending on your demographic and the age and all that, there's a lot of people who are not attracted to that anymore. So I feel like we need to find a way to communicate with people. And ultimately, everybody's wins in any industry, in any business, comes down to a network of conversations amongst human beings. So nothing happens if there's no communication with human beings. You always need to have a seller and a buyer. How does that actually happen? Communication. If you can't communicate your value, you can't communicate your offer, you can't communicate your products, then you're not going to make any sales. You're not going to create any leads. So sometimes people are more comfortable face to face, right? Sometimes you can go network in person and go talk to people in different places and spark up a conversation, make a friend, turn that friend into a lead and turn them into a business partner. For example, I was actually just talking to my mom, and my mom is amazing at networking in person. She just has that natural bubbly personality. She can joke around and build rapport and make a friend in all these different places that she goes to, right? She goes to like like saunas and health spas and different things like this. She goes for walks around the lake in her neighborhood and just sparks up conversations with people walking their dogs. She talks to people in the elevator, not because she has a motive to sell people, but because she's friendly, she's loving, she appreciates other human beings and like wants to light up their day and, you know, just smile at them and compliment them and be genuine. And she has like the charisma, and she's able to turn those people into potential leads by saying these little curiosity one-liners where the person goes, like she told me yesterday, she went to this place where she did red light therapy, and there was a conversation there, and then she just kind of made this thing like, hey, you would be perfect, or the person was from another part of the world, I think in Singapore or something, and she said, I got the best business in the world that I'm looking to expand into Singapore. And the person immediately was like, really? What is it? I'd love to hear more. That's it. That's all she did. Got a lead. And now she's able to start. And this person was the owner of the spa that had the red light therapy sauna in there. So already an entrepreneur, already successful, already making money. And my mom just simply had the no fear, no worrying about rejection, no worrying that the person says no. She just has the belief, right? She's like, I know this can serve this person, the water, the business, the opportunity. It's global, it's Singapore. She just believes in this so much, right? So you need to build the belief in yourself, in this product. There is so many people that are in this business watching this call right now, and you still feel some type of way about network marketing. You still feel some type of way. You still think like you're doing this shady thing, you know? Or you still feel like, oh, what if people find out I'm in this direct sales networking thing? They're going to look down on me. They're going to judge me. They're going to tell people about it. There's still some of y'all right now listening who feel some type of way about the very business you are in, trying to win, trying to help people, trying to succeed. How in the world do you think that's going to work out? It's not in alignment. So no wonder your business is a repellent. You know what I mean? You're repelling people with your energy. You're repelling people with your limiting beliefs. Guys, you're here. You know it's real. You know this is effective. You know that this is legitimate. You know that this is the business of the 21st century. There is nothing out there that has the right combination of business, product, service, you know, all the different moving parts of this company, Nagic, plus online, plus social media, plus community, all these things. There's nothing else like it. So why wouldn't you own it? Why wouldn't you be proud of it? Why wouldn't you come from the exact opposite place and be like, listen, maybe you got to have those affirmations and look at yourself in the mirror in the morning and say to yourself 1,000 times, like, I am a network marketing professional. I'm a direct sales millionaire. I wake up every day and I change people's lives with the Nagic. Whatever you got to say to literally believe that you are this person, and then you go out there and everybody is someone you can serve. Everybody is someone you can help, like my mom. My mom's been in the Nagic since 2008, guys, 15 years. She believes in this thing more than probably anything else in the world, maybe aside from me and my brother and, you know, our family. But like outside of family, she believes in this more than anything else. She believes in the water more than anything else. She believes in this business than anything else. And she's networking like crazy, and she's converting these people into business partners and customers and sales just from a place of love. Not some crazy strategy, not some crazy funnel, not some crazy ads. Love, service, compassion. How can I help you? Let me tell you all the details so you can make an educated decision. That's it. And she converts these people. So that's the next thing, guys. You have to get over yourself. You have to get over your limiting beliefs. Okay? And then you have to find out what strategy works the best for you to generate leads. Like, I'll give you one, for example. At the end of the day, there's only two ways you can generate leads, okay? With your time or with your money. Those are the two options, okay? So if you're going to be somebody who's like, I don't understand ads, I don't want to put in the time to learn ads, I don't want to put some of my money towards lead gen, sure, that's up to you. I personally think that's the better way. It's the more leverage way. It's the more automated way. And it's the more scalable way. And that's definitely the goal that everybody should be working towards as part of a skill set that they're putting some time in every day, every week to develop in that direction as something that can run in the background. That's what I believe. Now, that's not the only way. Some people are anti-ads. They think it's a waste of money. That's perfectly fine. You're entitled to your own opinion and your own beliefs. But what's the alternative? hoping, wishing, and praying, oh, please, 10 leads per day, come to my door, and no. Good luck with that. How's that working out for you? Chances are you got 0 leads, okay? So the alternative is you got to do outbound, organic. You have to generate leads with stories and posting and constantly sharing wins and testimonials and success. Like, it's a lot of work. It requires your time. You got to have that hustle mentality, that hustle energy, okay? And it does work. You know, another thing that I teach inside my Diamond Life mentorship specifically is outreach on people's social media. So for example, this is tried and true and tested, where you find accounts that are on Instagram, let's say, and there's people there that are maybe in fitness or health or these kinds of niches, right? And you're like, okay, that would be a good niche to get them into my business. So you know what you do? You become their best friend. How do you become their best friend? Okay, well, what would your best friend do if they followed you on Instagram and you supported each other? So let's say I got a best friend and they post something on Instagram. I'm going to like their post, right? They're my best friend. I'm going to support them. I'm going to comment something genuine. Hey, man, great job. Congrats, or whatever the post is about. Genuine, relatable to the post. It's not some generic comment. It's like, it's genuine. It's applicable to the post. And I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep showing up as a best friend would, right? Because this person that doesn't even know you is going to start seeing your interactions, your engagement, your commenting, you're sharing their stuff, you're there, you're DMing them stuff, whatever the case is. You would be surprised that out there in the world, as busy it is, as many people there are on social media, very few people do this. Very few people interact as if the relationship was already built before it was even started. Okay, this is a mental shift. So it's like, I'm going to play this game of like, you don't know me, and ego and pride, and like, I'm not going to message you. I'm not going to act like I'm a groupie or a fan or all this kind of stuff, right? So nobody actually interacts with each other. It's crazy. It's like people are afraid of each other in the internet, on the world, right? Because it's all the stuff we hear about people is the people who are the keyboard warriors and the haters and the people who hide behind their cat profile picture and talk shit on the internet. But there's another side to this. You can build relationships by giving first, by showing up first, okay? This is going to take time, but it's either time or your money. So if you don't have the money or you don't want to prioritize it, this is how you can build some relationships. Pick 20, 50, 100 people. Follow those people on your social media. Get rid of all the bullshit. Stop following Kim Kardashian and Michael Jordan and people that will never, ever do business with you. You're wasting your time on following them and being a groupie on their life. But you can follow someone, a real human being who's relatable, who actually reads their own social media comments and their own Instagram DMs and stuff, right? And you can start interacting with them. And then eventually, here's what's going to happen. If you show up frequently, they're going to be top of mind. You're going to be top of mind, right? Then they're going to go, who's this? Who's my best friend? It's like, who's acting like my best friend? I don't even know who they are. What are they going to do? They're going to go to your account, right? They're going to check you out. They're going to kind of go, okay, well, what are they all about? What are things they're posting on their account? Maybe they start the law of reciprocity. They start liking your stuff. They start commenting on your stuff. Maybe you have an opportunity to get on a phone call or whatever. You build the relationship. But what's important here is the link in your bio and the description of who do you help? What is your business? How do you serve people? Because then what happens is they come back to you, since you were giving, you were interacting, you were commenting, and it's a numbers game. So if you go at that point, okay, 10 people per day, 20 people per day, I'm going to send a DM, I'm going to do, build a relationship. You want to know what it takes in the beginning? This is what it takes, guys, because no matter what level of skill you have, no matter what level of experience you have, everybody is a human being that you can start a conversation with. You can you can engage, you can, and you can spend an hour or two a day doing this. Is it the most optimal way to do this business? Of course not. But you need to have conversations with people. You need to have opportunities to build relationships, and relationships, they ultimately lead to opportunities to sell them. So all I'm getting at here is sometimes we want to get the horse before the cart and the cart before the horse, and we're like, I don't know what to do. Do something. I don't know where to get leads. Try something. And you'll be so amazed at as soon as you get the action of a real human being that you can go back and forth with, your confidence starts to build so much, because you're going to get people that start to say things like, hey, I never knew about this. I never knew about this water. I never knew about this type of business model. So you're going to get feedback. The feedback's going to make you feel good because you probably got some kind of story up in your head that makes you think like everybody's already heard of this water or everybody hates network marketing direct sales. You made up some story in your head that's completely not true. So by you talking to real human beings, right? It doesn't matter how, elevator, coffee shop, the spa, DMs, doesn't matter. You have to have some form of lead gen and conversations every single day. And if you don't know how to do it in a fancy way or with a ad strategy or some effective thing because you're so new that you haven't had the chance to learn it, then just communicate with human beings, okay? And you can talk to them in a way where it's not like the shady way, like sometimes we talk all this stuff about people pitching us in our DMs, right? And it's like first message, hey, I saw your post and I feel like you'd be the perfect client for my services and I'll do this. It's the first thing, right? It's already a pitch. And of course we read that, turns us off. We're like, no, thank you. That's not what I'm saying you should do. That's lazy. And that's the same thing as walking up to someone on the streets and like, being just rude or like cussing them out or, something that you'd be like, whoa, dude, settle down. Like, you didn't even say hello. You didn't even introduce yourself. You didn't even say like, hey, my name's Balazs. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? Like nothing. You just went right for like, hey, it's $100. Give me your money. Like those hagglers when you go to like Mexico, right? They just come right up to you trying to make money off you. You're like, whoa, dude, I would have probably bought something if you had a different approach. So ultimately, genuine conversations with real people come from a place of service. Try to find out where they're at in their life. But even before then, you need to engage with them, right? You need to like support whatever they're putting out there. Like I'll use myself as an example. So I'll post on my social media and stuff, and I got literally tens of thousands of people in my business, right? You know how many people in the community follow my personal social media and comment on my stuff? Like less than 1%, okay? So let's just say hypothetically, you're following my account on Instagram or something like that, right? Which I recommend you follow and check it out. But even if you didn't right now and you go check it out, if you start leaving comments on all of my posts and less than 1% of people do you think I'm eventually going to notice you specifically because you're leaving genuine comments, you're supporting what I'm putting out there, you're showing some love? Eventually, if you do it long enough and I keep seeing your name, your username or whatever it's called, the Instagram handle, eventually I'm going to click over and see who you are. I'm going to see some of your posts. I'm going to read the link in your bio. I'm a human being. I do the same thing as everybody else. So all I'm getting at here, my friends, is that we get so caught up in like, what do I do? What do I say? What's the strategy? And there are lots and lots and lots of strategies. And if you listen to me and you listen to someone else and these other leaders, they'll all tell you different ways that works for them. But I only know what I've done in my life. And when I first got started in Enagic, I was a door-to-door sales guy, trained, professional, prior to doing this. So I didn't have a problem with knocking on doors, literally trying to serve someone, solve their problems, give them a deal, and close a sale. I didn't have a problem with that. So when I realized the potential for Enagic compared to what I used to do selling door-to-door, I was like, so all I got to do is spark a conversation with somebody, and they might be a sale. I got no fear. I got no worries I'm going to be rejected. I'm literally here to help you. And if you're not ready to be helped or what solution I have to give you isn't right for you, that's okay. I'm not going to take that personally. But I do need to have a process of yes or no. Are you a yes or no? And how many of you listening right now have these people in your minds, right? Your network, your Facebook friends, your social media friends, your old colleagues from another job, and you keep having this like story in your head like, man, I wonder if I told Sally about this business, like she'd be such a great fit, man. Like she would kill it in this. She'd be so good. And you've had this story in your head about these people for months, depending on how long you've been here. Maybe you've been here a day and you just started having those thoughts. It's like, why haven't you asked them? Why haven't you talked to them? Why haven't you messaged them and said, hey, look, I've been thinking about you. And I just had this thought, there's only a handful of people that come to mind when I think about someone who do amazing things with my new business that I started. And I'd like to share this opportunity with you. I'd like to show it to you. And if you don't like it, that's fine. Have a look, that's it. Just let me know if you're interested or not. It's so simple. And this person's going to go, thank you for thinking of me. Like the first thought, especially if you have some kind of relationship and they know you, like you've met them before in person, they know who you are, they know your name. There's going to be a level of like, you thought of me? Cool. It's genuine, especially if you add in some of their qualities, some of their skills. Like, hey, listen, I know you've always been an outgoing person. When we worked at the restaurant together a few years ago, you were always so bubbly, you were so happy, and it makes me think that this opportunity would be something you'd really do amazing things with. It's genuine, it's personalized to them and stuff. Let me know if you see what I see. Or when do you have time to watch a 20-minute video? When do you have time to meet up or come to this live presentation locally? Doesn't matter, guys. The point is that you did something. You tried something. You attempted to have a conversation with another human being. I've had thousands of people ghost me, leave me on red, not reply to me. And you know what, guys? Not to be an asshole, but I'm a fucking millionaire, multi-millionaire. I'm living my dreams. So do I really care? Let's be real. Did I care back then? Yes, it sucked. I would, go through my DMs at the end of the night and be like, man, like 10 people got back to me out of 100. That kind of sucks. Do I care now? Do you think it matters to me now? No. They're probably the ones kicking themselves when they go back in their message history and they go, oh, in 2013, Balazs tried to contact me and he told me that I would be successful for these reasons. And he took the time to personalize it to me. He really believed in me. And he sent me this message of these are the reasons why he thought I would make it in this thing. And now the message is still there. And I am here in my life. And I've helped this many people. And I've succeeded. How do you think that message lands for that person now? You think there's a little bit of regret? You think there's a little bit of, oh man, shit, I should have heard him out. I should have maybe got together with him and watched the presentation or whatever? There's a lot of people out there, my friends. Some I actually know personally that feel this way. And it's like the elephant in the room. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that with Balazs. We're going to pretend that never happened. It's how it rolls. It's just how it goes. So at the end of the day, the way that I personally look at it is if you don't know how to do a higher level skill, you're not there yet because you're new. It's intimidating. It's overwhelming. Do the best you can with what you know. And if it doesn't work and you don't get a sale, you don't get a lead, it's okay. And here's why it's okay. Because the people that you know the day that you start this business is not going to be the people that are actually usually your top leaders and your best people in your business by the time you make it to 682-3. So many times we get caught up in like, I have 300 Facebook friends, I have 1,000 followers on Instagram. I wonder who's going to buy from me from this group of people, right? It's usually none of them or very few of them. And if they do buy, they probably give up and they don't work out. So the good news is that as you do your best today, in the future, you will know more, you will do better, and you will have more strategies, and you'll have more insight, you'll have more experience, you'll learn a little bit about communication and sales and NLP and language patterns and so on, and you're going to look back and go, you know what? At least I didn't wait around until I felt like I was ready. Instead, I took action before I was ready, and I actually did get some leads. I did get some sales. I did get some experience. Does this make sense for everybody? There's so many of you that are just waiting to be experts, waiting to be professional salespeople, waiting to be professional marketers, waiting and waiting and waiting, and your life is passing you by. You're not getting any younger. You don't have any more time. It's time to take action, and by doing, you will learn. By getting feedback, you will learn. And then you can go to your mentor, you can go to your sponsor, you can go to your upline and say, listen, Balazs, this week, here's what I did to grow my business. I did this, I tried this, I said this, I presented like this. And you come to the mentor with actual action you've taken. But what most people do is they don't take any action, and then they complain, and then they bitch, and they don't know what to do, and they're like, it's overwhelming, and it's hard, and I don't know where to start, and all these excuses. And then you come to someone like myself or your sponsor, your 6A leader or whatever, and they're like, okay, so what did you actually do this week? Well, I haven't really done anything because I couldn't get a hold of you, and you left me on red 3 days ago, and I'm still, and it's like, are you effing serious? The opposite of this is, hey, Balazs, listen, I had 20 leads this week. I DM'd these people. I made this video. I tried this thing. I have this one person that seems to be interested. What do I do? What do I say? Then we go, all right, amazing job. You've taken initiative. You've taken action. You're moving the needle forward. Does this make sense? And what happens is naturally by taking imperfect action before you feel you're ready, you will start to learn as you go and you'll get real-time feedback. And every single person who's on GPM, okay, all the leaders, 6A, millionaires, all the top people that you look up to, there has been a season in their life where they made so many mistakes. They said the wrong stuff. They looked foolish. They looked dumb, and they didn't care. They did it anyways because that season is temporary. None of you are going to be an amateur forever if you keep doing this. None of you are going to suck at sales and marketing forever. None of you are going to not understand how to run ads forever. It's just a temporary season. And that season sucks. But if you don't get through it by taking action through it, the next season will never come. The more experienced season where you have some insight, you have some experience, you can actually go, you know what? I've knocked thousands of doors and I've got rejected thousands of times. Do you think that gives me more credibility today, 15 years after I did it? Yes. Do you think it sucked 15 years ago when I knocked on thousands of doors and got laughed at and, people said, hey, oh, I'm going to get my Rottweiler or my pit bull. I'll be right back. And it's like, get him. And I'm like running down the street like, shit. That all happened to me and I didn't care because I knew that it was going to be worth it down the road. Okay. So to recap, before we wrap up this call, you got to change your belief. Okay. You cannot be in an industry you don't believe in. You cannot be in a company, profession that you still feel some type of way, my friends. You have to love this. You have to love this. You know what I mean? This is the way. This is a better way. I'm telling you right now, the number of people that could comment on this video right now who have done this, who've done that, who've done this, who've done that, all different types of business models, all different types of jobs, all different types of careers that come back to Enagic and they're like, it's just freaking way better, dude. It's way better for this reason. It's way better for that reason. Way better for that reason, right? So that means there's people out there right now who don't know about this yet that you could be the person who introduces it to them. Messy, saying things wrong, saying things backwards, not having all the answers. It doesn't matter. Take action, take initiative, okay? The next thing is that you're in your current home, you're building your future life, you're building your future house, which means that you have to go through a temporary season of sacrifice, okay? You have to go through that. It sucks. It's hard. You're putting in more work. You're staying up late. You're waking up early. You're working every second you have in between breaks, in between work, in between calls. When your kid's at school, you're working on this. On the weekends, you're working on this. You're not sleeping in. You're not drinking. You're not fucking your life up. You're working on this because this opens up all the doors for you in the future. And if you're not willing to do that right now, for a temporary season, don't ever expect to be myself when it comes to rank, income, success, or any of the other leaders in this community, okay? So that's the next thing. The final thing is you have to generate leads. You have to work on it. You have to have conversations with people. And whether you have that bubbly personality like my mom who just talks to whoever, or you don't, you have to have some way of doing it, right? So some of you are going to go, all right, I don't resonate with the bubbly personality. I don't resonate with the in-person thing. Totally all good. But what is the other way you're doing it? Because a lot of the times, people just don't have the conversations for the fear of being rejected. And I believe there's no such thing as rejection, only feedback. So we have to take action to get a result. Sometimes the result is what we want, and sometimes it isn't. And if it isn't, that isn't rejection, it's feedback. So we go, okay, I did this, I said this, they said this, it didn't work, so how do I go back to the drawing board? How do I go ask my mentor? How do I go watch a training video? How do I go on YouTube and learn how to say that differently and more effectively next time, right? Then you go back and have another conversation. Same sort of thing happens. Boom, it works. You get a lead, you get a phone number, you get an email. They say yes to meeting you for coffee. They say yes to a Zoom call. Holy shit, it's that moment where you're like, I broke through, man. I broke through. And then it continues. And then your confidence builds some more. And you keep showing up and you keep showing up. This is the reality, my friends. And if you're not willing to endure this process, which can take a couple years sometimes, if you're not willing to endure this process, do not expect the residual income to fall into your bank account every 30 days and you living like a king or a queen. There's a direct sacrifice related to that. When you make 6 figures plus in bonuses dropped into your account every 30 days, whether you're sleeping for a month, whether you're traveling for a month, whether you're reading books for a month or whatever you want to do, and it keeps coming and it keeps going up and it keeps growing, is that not worth it for you to feel a little silly? For you to talk to someone and maybe they don't see what you're seeing and say, they don't like what you're talking about? Is that worth it to you? Because it's worth it to me, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I endured all those things, all right? And then finally, I think you should want to find a community that you're aligned with, because that's going to give you a lot more of a streamlined step-by-step process, and it's going to teach you a lot of fundamental skills that will eventually lead you to getting to that home and that house more effectively. And here's the thing that I got to tell you guys before I finish this call, okay? Right now, we are the #1 organization across all the ranks in Enagic in the world, okay? I'm not #1 in my rank, but the top 2 people in my rank are in my team, and then the top people in the other ranks, aside from -6 and higher, they're all in our organization in GPM. And here's the thing. Why? Why are we #1? Well, let me tell you, it's because of community. It's because of streamlined step-by-step training. It's because people are willing to go, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to show up. I'm willing to practice and feel my way to success. So if you're wanting to come in here and go against what's working, that's kind of silly. You know what I'm saying? There was a saying I heard way back when I first started, is like, the only thing worse, or wait, how does it go? It goes, the only thing that kills a great idea is your better idea. And I remember hearing that because it's the whole concept of like reinventing the wheel. It's like, so you observe all these people who are winning, right, in the community. They're making big bank, they're rank advancing, they've been doing this 2-3 years, and they're talking like, I got ads going, I got this going, right? And then the person looks at it and goes, okay, I hear you, I see you, you have the results I want, but I'm going to go over here and I'm going to start a lemonade stand in the middle of frickin' the forest, and I'm pretty confident that I could sell a bunch of lemonade, and then after they buy my lemonade, I can sell them in a Enagic machine. And you're just kind of listening to this and you're like, really, dude? So I get it. There's a learning curve. It's hard. It's difficult. It's challenging. There's moving parts. It's complicated. It's technical. I get all that. But that's still the goal. That's still what you're signing up for, in my opinion, to learn. And you can learn it. You can do it. There's nobody listening right now who doesn't have the mental capacity to learn this stuff, as long as you're willing to understand that it's always uncomfortable. It's always weird for all of us. No exceptions. Every single person. But we just have a bigger reason why we will learn than a reason why we will have an excuse. That's what it comes down to ultimately. Okay? And in the meantime, you're going to do your bread and butter, which is just talk to people every single day. You know, ask them questions. Hey, listen, what's your biggest challenge in your life right now? My name is Balazs Kardos. Listen, I'm just curious. I'm doing a little bit of market research. What's your biggest challenge in your life right now? They could answer so many things, right? But often it's going to be to do with 2 things. What are those 2 things? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. My health is messed up. Or I'm stressed out about my work. You know, these kinds of things. So just by starting a conversation with people, you can just find out and identify how you might be of service. You can do this in person. You can do this in DMs. You can do it on social media. You can do it anywhere, you know? Please make it a goal of yours to get 10, 20 no's a day. See, that's the opposite of what most people think. They always think like, I got to get a yes, I got to get a sale, I got to get a conversion. But you have to go through the reps. So if you start off and you go, okay, I have 3 hours a day to work on my business. For 2 hours a day, I'm going to find a way to talk to human beings, okay? Whatever certain skill set you have, whatever network you have, whatever options you have, just have conversations with human beings, come from a place of service, and then network that way as a minimum requirement, okay? Then you're also going to share your journey and your story on social media and get practicing on being vulnerable, talking about your vision, talking about your goals, talking about why you started this business, talking about what you see for the possibility. But that's not the only thing you're doing. That's just one of the things you're doing because it takes time to grow that audience in an organic way. In the meantime, you're going direct straight to the source, whether it's in person, whether it's DMs, whether it's live networking events, whatever. But you got to have a minimum number of people you make contact with per day. That's the basics. That's just what's required. You're still going to need to do the personal development. You're still going to need to post organically on your social media, and you're still going to need to learn the future skills that allows you to generate leads more consistently online, leveraging paid traffic, leveraging funnels, leveraging communities and platforms. That's still something you need to focus on. So in my opinion, the reality of the situation is that you need to be all in to really truly win. And you're going to make mistakes. You're going to say, you're going to screw up. You're going to learn a lot, and that's totally fine. But when I look back on my journey now with where I'm at 10 years later, almost 682-6, almost at $2 million a year in reoccurring passive income in Enagic, I'm right there, almost this close, right? When I look back 10 years ago, when I first got started in this, all of the stuff that went through my mind, I remember thinking to myself, it doesn't matter what happens in this moment. What matters is where it's going to lead me to in the future. And if where it's leading me to in the future is worth it, then whatever this feeling is right now in the second of uncomfortableness, rejection, feeling like I don't matter. You know, sometimes people look down on you like, oh, you're just one of these people trying to make a sale. It's like, no, man, I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to change your life. I'm trying to change my family's life. I'm trying to take what's mine. I'm trying to live life on my terms. And that comes with me trying to help you. And if you don't see that, that's okay. I love you anyways. I'm going to go help somebody else. We can't get all caught up in, oh, they didn't get back to me and they didn't like it. And yeah, they said this mean thing. Doesn't matter. Bottom line, it does not matter. Okay? So when you realize this, that after 10 years from now, when you're living life exactly how you always imagined and even better than you imagined, all of this stuff that you're experiencing right now, all the fear, all the limitation, all the, I don't know if I should, please, just trust me on this. Do it. All of us who are winning have done it. We might forget sometimes. We might be so many years past it at this particular stage in our life that we might not talk about it as much as we should. But if I interviewed all top leaders, all top income earners in this business right here, in this community right here, I promise you, they're all going to say, man, in the beginning, dude, I looked like a fool. I said this, I did that, I tried this, I tried that. It didn't work. I wasted money. I lost money. I tried this. I went here. Relentlessness. Doesn't matter. They still kept going. They still kept taking action. They still kept learning. They still kept getting better. And then over time, they look like they had it figured out. Over time, you're impressed with how they talk, how they market, their branding, their ads, their funnels. It's impressive over time. But most of us didn't know those people back in the beginning of their journey. Most of you listening to this right now did not know me where I was at 15 years ago. So you don't have context, right? And most of the people that are bringing you into Enagic when they're selling you stuff or whatever with their marketing strategies, you don't know how long they've been struggling. You don't know how much they've overcome. All of us have. That's the point, is that there's not one single person who puts their hand up, oh, hey, Balazs, I actually skipped all that and I went straight into a funnel that converts me thousands of leads a day and makes me hundreds of sales a month and I didn't have to do none of that shit. Show me one person. They don't exist. It's not a thing, okay? So back to the ultimate final point here is no matter where you are right now, measure your own results by what actions you took today that moves the needle forward truly in your business. And there's only a few things that truly matter. Only a few. Your personal growth and development, your gratefulness, your attitude, your belief, and your consistency. That's the inner game, the inner work, okay? That needs to be a staple and a foundation No matter what community you're in or not in, or what platform you're in or not in, it's a staple. You have to do that every single day. That is the key to the wealth, to the freedom, to the riches you want to create. Because once you become that person, all of that stuff is just automatically, rightfully yours. Okay, step one. Step two, you have to understand that during a season of sacrifice, it's hard, man. You're doing double the work. You got your full-time thing, you got your obligations, you got your schedule, you got your children, you got your family, and on top of that, you're building the house and the dream you want to move into. That's not easy. It's double the work. It overlaps. It's just the way it is. And that period of time, most people, they just can't endure. They're like, man, I'm just tired, man. I'm just tired and I just want to watch the game. I want to see my friends. I want to eat the chicken wings and the beer. Okay. But that means you don't want what you say you want as bad as you say you want it. Simple as that. The next and final piece is you need to have conversations with people. Whether that's interacting online, whether it's interacting offline, whether it's whatever, you have to create conversations that lead to leads. That's the bottom line, okay? And then the final piece is you need to learn the skills that you know are going to lead to more growth, more leverage, more automation, more scale, which is a learning curve process. You can gain those skills and you can gain that knowledge through some of these communities and platforms, which are fantastic. You totally should. You can learn about these things also inside of something like a private mentorship. Like I got one, other people got one. That could be a place to accelerate those results also. But ultimately, this is the stages of success. This is the stage of the business. And when you can go, all right, stage 1 is going to take me 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. Stage 2 is going to take me another 18 months. Stage 3 is going to take me another couple years. And then after 5 years, I go to stage 3. And after that, I go to stage 4. And then 10 years on, I'm at stage 5. And once you get to stage 5, you're at cruising altitude, man. You're on the Boeing 747 Dreamliner. It's a custom private jet. You're up there just seeing the whole world from the eagle's eye view, right? Business is scaling. Life is good. You got your freedom. And you finally wake up inside of the dream. You wake up in the dream. You're like, oh my gosh, wait a second. This used to be up here. Now it's out here. Wow. It's a process, my friends. Okay? So, from this day forward, make yourself a promise. Make yourself a commitment to something so simple. Read 10 pages of a book that's personal development based on the thing that you need to solve for the most. So if it's mindset and belief in yourself, focus exclusively on that for now. Once you believe in yourself, move past that, maybe you get into sales and marketing books so you can generate some leads. Learn exclusively on where you need help. Don't listen to nobody else who recommends some random fucking book. That's their book for where they are in their journey. Read the book you need, okay? And if you don't know which books to read, ask and be like, here's my problem that I'm having a hard time overcoming. Can you recommend me a book to solve this problem? Not like, what books do you recommend I read? Totally out of context, not relevant. Read 10 pages of book every single day. Number 2, you got to have at least 3, 4, 5, 10 conversations a day, 10 opportunities a day of someone who might be a potential fit for you and your business, and come from a place of service. Ask questions. Don't pitch them. Don't tell them to buy. Ask them what's going on. Ask them what they're looking for. Ask them what challenges they face, and then apply what you can serve them with and help them with, and let them know, listen, I got this thing. It might be a good fit. Just use neutral terminology. It might be a fit. It might not be a fit. Take a look. See if you like what this is about, and if not, and all I ask for you is get back to me with a yes or a no. If it's a no, all good. If it's a yes, fantastic. I'll send you some more information. If you do that daily, my friends, you're going to convert some of them into buyers. You have to. There's no way you can talk to 300 potential people in a month and not get a single buyer. The problem is some of you guys have never talked to anybody, or you've never talked to 300 people ever. So your sales data there's not enough data. There's not enough numbers. If someone asks you what's your closing percentage, it's a question mark. And the reason it's a question mark is because there's not enough practice. There's not enough shots on the basket. There's no attempts. You got to have the attempts so we can look at it and go, all right, you've had 100 attempts and you've got how many leads? You got 100 attempts, you got how many sales? But if it's like, I'm still waiting for the perfect way to do the thing, and it's like, That doesn't count. That's like the dude in the locker room who's lacing up his Jordans and he's never got on the court. He's never grabbed the ball. He's never even tried to score, right? What's the coach going to say? The coach is going to say, like, I don't know if the kid's the next superstar or if the kid's like the worst basketball player to ever live because he's never got on the court. He's never got in the arena. He's never taken action, okay? And then finally, you have to commit for the long term. You have to understand there's an evolution that is going to happen with your mindset, with your skill set, with who you are as an individual. You're growing into this person, right? I have a 2-year-old baby girl. She's almost 2.5. What if I expected her to go from 2 years old to graduating high school and skipping the next 15 years of growth, the next 15 years of trial and error, the next 15 years of all the things that are a requirement for her to blossom into a teenager and a young lady one day? That's how some people appreciate or approach this business. That's what they focus on. They're like, oh, well, I want to go from no skills and I want to go to all the success. It's like, well, where's the transformation? Where's the personal development? Where's you changing from who you are, which gives you your current life, into who you need to become, which gives you your dream life? It's a process, my friends. And if you commit to that process for long enough, you will win. It's really that simple. We can talk all the nuances and the tactics and the strategies and all the bells and whistles and all that. We can go there, but for the majority of you, that won't serve you. You're just going to go and kind of be stuck in your own demise. This is kind of the simplicity you need to get back to, is these few things a day. And I promise you that if you feel like you're not very good at something and you keep doing it, you have to get better. There's nobody that can keep practicing something for like 6 months and then be worse in 6 months than they were today. Do you know anybody like that? Is that you? Have you ever practiced something exclusively, focused on it, and gotten worse? No. So when you look at that and you look back on your business in a few years, you're going to understand that this is just the process we all need to go to. And then you can build this however you wish: organic, face-to-face, live events, webinars, funnels, DMs, Instagram, YouTube. Man, that's all here and there. That's up to you. There's many ways of doing it. But if you don't get out of your own way initially in the early stages and have this like relentlessness of like, look, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care if I say the wrong thing. I don't care if you ghost me. I don't care if you get back to me. I'm going to keep shooting the ball at the basket every single day, showing up to practice, putting in my reps, and focusing on the process. That's it, okay? And I know you can do this. This is the thing that's so important, is like at the end of our day, when we actually think about what the process might be for you, it doesn't matter in the big grand scheme of things. If you talk to anybody who's way down the track 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and you ask them, would you do it again? Would you do it all over again? Was it worth it to get the life you have today? My guess, I mean, if you're asking me directly, would I do it all again? And a lot of stuff. Let's just put it that way. A lot of stuff has happened over the years. You know, a lot of bad things, a lot of painful things, a lot of disappointing things have happened in the last 10 years since I committed to Enagic. It hasn't been an easy road by any means. You know, you might think that everybody that I pitched this to says yes to me today because of my level of success or my rank or whatever. That's not the case. There's still a level of odds and ratios of yeses and nos and opportunities and no opportunities. It's never going to change, all right? So please, don't be someone who looks back on your life in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, when you're on your deathbed and you think back to yourself, what if? What if I would have just gotten out of my own way? What if I would have just taken more shots? What if I would have just asked more people, hey, look, maybe I can help you. Maybe I could serve you. I have this business that helps people with health and wealth and freedom and impact and contribution to humanity, something you can really feel proud of and sleep at night with a big smile on your face. What if I would have just asked more people if they were open to having a look? That was all. Nothing else, just simply the opportunity to have a look. If it's a yes, fantastic. If it's a no, life goes on. It's all good, right? So many people are going to die with regrets because they just didn't take a chance on themselves. They didn't believe on themselves. They didn't bet on themselves. So my wish for you is, guys, listen, you're already here. You've already invested in the Enagic products. You've already invested in your online business. You've already taken the biggest step you need to take. The rest of the steps are simple compared to the steps you've taken to this point, because the hardest part is getting in the front door. The hardest part is making the financial commitment and getting those products into your life. That's done. You're good. You've won. Now you just got to follow through. It's easy to buy shit. It's easy to invest in something. It's much, much harder to just follow through and finish the job, finish the project, finish the goal, get to the promised land without losing enthusiasm, without quitting, without giving up. It's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. If you have a family you love and they love you, they're going to thank you. My wife thanks me every single day. She says, thank you for working so hard. Thank you for building this life of our dreams. Thank you for giving Valentina and I this life. She thanks me constantly. You know how good that feels? Because deep down, I'm like, oh man, I went through so much shit. I went through so much. And it's all worth it when your wife or your parents or your mom or your siblings or whoever tells you, man, thank you for doing this. It's worth it. Right? Some of you have young children who maybe can't even tell you that yet because they're so young, but they will learn, they will know. And they're going to be on one side of the coin. They're going to be on like, hey, daddy, how come you didn't try harder? How come you didn't work harder? How come you didn't give us a better life? There's that side of the coin, right? Don't be that person that has to face that reality. And then there's the other side of the coin. It's like, thank you. Thank you for the sacrifices. Thank you for the relentlessness. Thank you for figuring it out. And thank you for just going and going and going, right? That's the side you want to be on. So take action. Go for it. Fail your way to success. Look foolish. Look dumb. It doesn't matter because you will have the last laugh. You will eventually conquer and prevail and win. You eventually will have a thriving organization. Really visualize it. Picture it. Leaders, thriving businesses, global organization, different communities, sales popping through every single day, right? Title incentives, traveling the world, putting your kids in whatever education they want or you want them to go into. All of it is within your reach and it's closer than you think. It's maybe a few years away from today, but it's closer than you think. So many people inside this community have done it, my friends. We have thousands of people that are higher than 6A in my team alone, never mind Enagic. But the opportunity is still early. Enagic's almost 50 years old, and guess what? There's only 285 people in the world that are 6A2-3. That's it. 285 people. So imagine what you can do. Imagine what opportunity still exists for you and the people that you can serve. That's it. I can keep going. But I think I've said what I needed to say. And I think that all of you that are new, you just need to be more accepting of where you're at. It's not always easy being new. It's difficult at times. There seems to be a million things that you need to learn. It's okay. But while you're learning, have conversations with human beings and just learn to make a friend. Learn to be a professional problem solver. Learn to care, to be kind, to love people, to have compassion, to have those opportunities to just find out if you could offer them something that they need to help them. And if you come from that place repetitively, multiple times per day, no matter what, you do not go to bed at night until that has been done, there's no possible way that you will not make sales. There's no possible way you won't make money. There's no possible way that you're going to struggle in this looming recession and global meltdown that's basically around the corner and already sort of happening. That is how you will thrive the next few years, is by getting out of your own way, taking action, being proud of your progress, being proud of everything that you're doing. And I just can't wait for your success story. Truly, I can't wait for you to walk across stage at one of the global conventions and be recognized as a 6A, 6A2, 6A2-2, 6A2-3, 6A2-4, 6A2-5, all the way. Have the mic, say your thank yous, right? Thank your haters, thank your doubters, whatever you got to do. Hold up the big check, hold up the trophy, and know that you earned it. Every single ounce of it, you earned it. I can't wait to be that. I can't wait to celebrate you, okay? And I know you have what it takes. Listen, this is no longer a question or a debate about whether you can or you can't. We're way past that point now. It's undebatable fact that you can. Just make sure that you believe that too, all right? I love you so much. I can't wait till the next call. We're going to be popping on here again in about a month or so. In the meantime, keep killing it. Keep taking action. Keep improving every single day. And I can't wait for you guys to get to where you need to go, where you want to go, where you deserve to go. All right, my friends, take care for now, and we'll chat again real soon. Much love to you. Bye-bye.